Good morning, students. Today, our topic is operating system and computer network, and this is chapter number 5 of Unit 1. So, let us start. First of all, there are two topics in operating system that are clearly mentioned in your syllabus. These are cell and kernel. What is the meaning of cell and kernel? Let us see it. Operating system can be divided into two basic parts, or we can say that operating system is composed of two different parts, cell and kernel. So first of all, what is the operating system? Operating system is an interface between the user and the hardware. We know very well that it is an interface between the user and the hardware, and it has broadly two components: shell. So what is the meaning of shell? The shell part is responsible for interacting with the user. Okay, so when we say that operating system is an interface between the user and the hardware, so one part which interact with the user is called the shell, and the other part which interact with the hardware is called kernel. So kernel part is responsible for interacting with the hardware. That is the basic difference between shell and kernel. And sometimes it is asked in examination that what is the difference between shell and kernel. So always remember that according to the definition of operating system is an interface between the user and hardware. So the component which directly deals with the user is called the shell, and which deal with the hardware is called the kernel. That is the basic difference between shell and kernel. Next is now there are some more important points regarding to shell. The shell acts as an interpreter which does these things. So the roles and responsibilities of shell are: first of all, it gets a command instruction from the user. It means in human understandable form, and translate the received command instruction into machine language and convert these data into machine understandable form. And third is pass the translated command to the kernel to get it done, and after that it pass these translated command, which is in a machine level language, to kernel to get it done. So basic work of the cell is to interact with the user gives his commands and instruction to cell, and after getting the instruction from and command from user, it basically translates the received command and instruction into the machine language, and then it pass it to the kernel for further processing. That is the role of cell in computer system, in operating system. And the kernel, what is the role of kernel? The kernel is the core part of an operating system. It functions at the basic level, communicating with the actual hardware and managing resources such as CPU and the memory. So its basic work is to manage different resources such as CPU and memory. So resource management is done by the kernel, and it works the interface between the user application and the hardware. And as we know that according to the definition of the operating system, one part is responsible for the interacting with the user, that is the cell, and the other part which is responsible for the interaction with the hardware is called the kernel. So kernel basically interact with the hardware, and its main work is to resource management, whatever the resource computer have. So it basically manage these all resources such as the CPU, central processing unit, and the memory. So that is the work of the kernel. So that is the basic difference between cell and kernel. And whenever it is asked in examination, always try to give the answer, give your answer in terms of tabular form, cell and kernel. And there are at least three difference should be mentioned, and all these three terms are given here. Now, I think the difference between the cell and kernel is quite clear to all of you. So there is another term. Okay. Now let us check the difference between. Now let us check the difference between cell and kernel operating system. So before discussing these difference, first of all, let us explain the different tasks performed by kernel. So the main tasks that are performed by the kernel are, first of all, process management. As we know that process is nothing but only the program in execution is also called the process. And there are different process, and which process is going to be execute first and which process is going to be later on in the in computer system is decided by operating system, and that the part which is decided the execution of the process or the order of the process is called the kernel. And second is device input output management. Different types of input output devices management are also handled by the kernel. And then interrupt and the event handling. So different events are going there in a computer system, and which event is executed first and which event is executed later in the computer system is also decided by the kernel. And interrupt it is basically the request sent by the different devices to the operating system for resource requirement or for execution of the particular process or event. So that is called the interrupt. So operating system basically deals with the interrupt, takes request from different sources, different input output devices, and perform according to the priorities. So suppose two different devices, we can say that a memory and a particular input device, suppose keyboard, sending the request to send the data and store the data at the same time, and this request is called the interrupt. And the computer and the operating system has to perform must be performed on the basis of the interrupt. So when operating system busy in another work, so it also requires it also receive that interrupt, and on the basis of the priority give that time to different input output devices, or we can say that and give the response according to that is called the interrupt handling. So interrupt handling and event handling is also done by the operating system. On the basis of that interrupt, different events handling is done by the operating system, and that is a part of the kernel. Next is memory management. Operating system also perform the different types of management regarding to memory. It means which program to be which program is to be saved in memory in which part, and what is the address of the particular data or a program in memory. That is also decided by the operating system, and that part is also done by the kernel. Second is timer management. Timer management, there are different processes in a computer system that are executing at the same times, and operating system allot different time slices for the different process. And so this type of timer management is also done by the kernel. And second and last is file systems. Everything that is that operating system is to perform is a task that is performed. Basically all these records are stored in a file. So and different tasks that are performed by an operating system, or we can say that the part of the operating system, that is kernel, so are stored in a particular file here. So that different files, how to manage different files related to different tasks and different activities, all this can be also done by the kernel. So these are the different work that are performed by the kernel: the process management, device input output management, interrupt and event handling, memory management, timer management, and file system. Always remember that only the basics of the cell and kernel is only of your syllabus, and you have to write to the point in examinations. So you need not to write process management, device input output management, interrupt handling, these all tasks in detail. Here whenever the cell and difference between the cell and kernel will be asked in examination, and as we know that these are the tasks which are performed by an operating systems, and so the part of which is responsible for that is the kernel. So whenever the functions of an operating system will be asked, then you can define in detail for that. But whenever difference between the cell and kernel will be asked, or the role and responsibility of the kernel will be asked, then you can write these points one by one. So these are the basic difference between cell and kernel. So if I want to say the difference between only in one line, then you can say that the part that is responsible for the interaction with the user is called the cell, and the part is responsible for interacting with the hardware is called the kernel. And the basic work of the operating system is to interface between the user and the hardware. So that is the difference between the cell and kernel. Next is types of kernel. Now there are two different types of kernel here: monolithic kernel and microkernel. So monolithic kernel is a single module carries all the above mentioned tasks. These are the all tasks that are performed by the kernel. So these tasks are performed by a single mentioned single module, then it is called the monolithic kernel. So in a single module carries all the above mentioned tasks of a kernel such as kernel is called the monolithic kernel. And if a kernel contain minimalistic module for which for where for basic functions only and get other services done through separately written specialized software, okay, then this type of kernel is called the microkernel. So there are two types of kernel. First of all, monolithic kernel and microkernel. If there is a single module which perform all the tasks, then it is called the monolithic. And microkernel is, as far as microkernel is concerned, so microkernel contain minimalistic module. It means it does not perform all the tasks that are given here. These tasks are basically these tasks or functions are performed by separately written specialized software. They are sometimes called the device driver or the file systems. So this type of kernel is called the microkernel. And here one important term is coined here, device driver. What is device driver? A device driver is a group of files that enables one or more hardware devices to communicate with the computer's operating system. A device driver is a group of files that enable one or more hardware devices to communicate with the computer operating system. So that is the difference between shell and kernel. Next, now our next topic is computer network. So what is computer network? A computer network is a collection of the interconnected computers and other devices which are able to communicate with each other and share hardware and software resources. And the collection, we can say that the collection of the interconnected computers is also called as the computer network. And two computers are said to be interconnected if they are capable of sharing, exchanging information. So here is the definition. You can easily see that the collection of interconnected computers. The collection of interconnected computers is called the computer network. So the basic purpose of the computer network is to connect different computers, and that computers are also called as node or workstation. It is also remembered that these computers are also called the node or workstation. So different computers are connected together, and when different computers are connected together, then this type of connection is called the computer network. And there is a one important question regarding here, that why we connect different computers together, because of resource sharing. Resource sharing. Suppose there is only one computer in our lab or in our office, and you want to connect this computer to all these this printer to all these computers, then it is possible only because of the computer network. So this printer when you send any command through any computer, then this command can be received by that printer if there is a proper computer network here, and that gives you a printout. Otherwise you need to you require printer for your each and every computer, and that basically increase your cost. So the basic purpose of the computer network is resource sharing. Okay, and let us take the second definition. A computer network is a collection of interconnected computer and other devices which are available. So not only the computers but also other devices such as the printer can be connected to the computer network, which are able to communicate with each other and share hardware and software resources. So they can share both the hardware and the software resources. Okay, a software can also be shared when computers connected to each other. And third definition is the two computers said to be interconnected if they are capable of sharing, exchanging information. When we say that capable of sharing, exchanging information, then it means that you can share data, you can share software, and you can also share hardware resources here. So the basic difference, so the basic definition as far as the computer network is concerned is the collection of interconnected computer is called the computer network. Okay, so you can easily see here that is a diagram in which we can easily see that different computers are connected to each other. These are the computers again, these are the printer. So different devices and computers are connected to each other, and you can also see here that these are connected in different manner. And when computer are connected to each other in different manner, they are called the, this is called the topology. So here you can see that one of the topology is ring topology, where all the computers connected in form of a ring. You can see that there is a ring here. Then this is a ring topology, and when two or more computers connected each other by a single cable, then it is called the bus topology. So these are computer connected to a bus topology. So this is also possible that different computers are connected together in different ways, means via different topologies, and all of them are interconnected to each other, not within a single room or a single lab or a single office, but also different office can also be connected to each other via computer network, and this is called the server. Okay, and this is printer here. So different computers connected to each other using computer network, and this is a line or cable by which these are all are connected to each other. So this is because of the resource sharing only. And when we want to share our resources such as software or hardware or share any data or information, then we use the computer network. Now uses of networking, here there are some uses of networking. First of all, resource sharing. Resource sharing means to make all programs, data and peripheral, means input output devices or secondary storage devices, also called the peripheral devices. So this is a very important term. All input devices and all output devices and all secondary storage devices such as the CD, DVD, pen drive, these all are commonly called as the peripheral devices. Okay, so resource sharing means to make all programs, data and peripheral, means input output devices, available to anyone on the network respective of the physical location of the resources and the user. That is called the resource sharing. Okay, that is the first main uses of the networking. Second is reliability. Reliability means to keep the copy of the file on the two or more different machines. So if one of them is unavailable due to some hardware crash or any other, then its other copy can be used. So that is the basic advantage of the computer network, that copy of different data or software are available when we use computer network. So in a case of hardware crash or any other type of problem, then we have another copy that we can use. Third is cost factor. Cost factor means it greatly reduces the cost since the resources can be shared. Okay, that is already discussed when we explained the example of the printer, that a single printer can be explained by different computers. So it reduces the total cost. Next is communication medium. Communication medium means one can send message, and whatever the changes at one end are done can be immediately noticed at another. That is an important use of the computer network, that when we done change at one end, then this change can be done or noticed at the another end. You can easily see that in banking system all the computers are connected to each other. Okay, and when they perform or they change at one end, then this change can also be and immediately noticed at another end also. So communication medium is another use of the networking. These are the some advantages of computer network: resource sharing, cost saving, collaborative user interaction, time saving, and increased storage. I think these are some points which need not be defined. You can easily understand. Resource sharing, cost saving, collaborative user interaction, because more than one user are interacting each other through computer network. It saves our time, and increased storage capability also, because data is stored in different computers also, so large storage is also there. Next is evolution of the networking. So first of all, in 1969, it is sometime asked in examination, the full form of the ARPANET. It is a very important question. ARPANET means Advanced Research Project Agency Network. So first network comes into existence, that is called the ARPANET, and it is a question belongs to the general knowledge. What is the first computer network? First computer network that came into existence is called the ARPANET. It is full form of it is Advanced Research Project Agency Network, and mid 80s there is another network, NSF-NET, means National Science and Foundation Network, and in 1990 the internetworking of the ARPANET, NF, NSFNet and other private network are resulted into the internet. So these two are the basic, or these two networks when combined in 1990, then the concept of internet was introduced at the time. Okay, so first computer network is ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network, and this provides the basic or base for internet in 1990. On the basis of the ARPANET and NSFNet, internet is introduced in 1990. Internet was introduced in 1990. That is a very important question. Always remember the full form of ARPANET, Advanced Research Project Agency Network, and year also 1969. So you can easily see here. This is a diagram explain the concept of internet here. ARPANET is here. After that 1980 NSFNet, and after that using these two technology, internet was introduced in 1990. Okay. Now there are three important terms. Internet. What is internet? Internet is simply the network of networks. It is the simplest definition of the internet. It is a network of different networks. And another important term that is coined nowadays, interspace. Interspace is a client-server software program that allows multiple users to communicate online with real-time audio, video, and text chat in a dynamic 3D environment. So that is called the interspace. Note down here the important point: client-server software. So it is a client-server software, and the basic purpose of interspace is to communicate online in terms of audio, video, and text in a 3D environment. That is called the interspace. Next important term is nodes or workstation. The term nodes refer to the computer that are attached to a network. So in computer network, different computers that are connected to a network are also called the nodes, or sometimes also called as the workstations. Network and seeking to share the resources of the networks. Simple definition is that the computer that are connected to a network is called the nodes or workstations. Next is the backbone. And backbone is a central interconnecting structure that connects two or more networks, just like the trunk of a tree, okay, or the spine of the human being. So backbone is nothing but the central interconnecting structure that connects two or more networks. It's called the backbone. Next is server. Server is a computer that facilitates the sharing of data, software, and hardware resources. It is also asked in your examination, what is a server? So server is a computer that facilitates the sharing of data, software, and hardware resources, that is printer, modems, etc. on the network, is termed as the server. And other computers that are connected to the network are also called as a client. So that is here the term client server, okay, used in interspace. So server is a computer that facilitates the sharing of the data. That the main computer is called the server, sharing of the data and software and hardware resources. and other computer in a network are also called as a client. So there is a client server architecture is there in computer network, and there are two types of server. First of all, non-dedicated server, and second is dedicated server. Non-dedicated servers serves are not completely non-dedicated servers are not completely dedicated to cause of serving. Okay, such server can facilitate the resource sharing among workstations, means nodes, on a proportionality small scale. The small network using such server are known as peer-to-peer networks. And second is dedicated server. In dedicated server system, one system is reserved for server's job, and it work on the principle of master-slave relationship. It means the main computer that is called the server is the master, and other computer that is called the client or work as a slave. It means that they directly get the instruction from the server, and according to that instruction they can perform their task. So there is a master-slave relationship in a dedicated server, while in non-dedicated server there is a peer-to-peer network. Means all computers have equal lights, peer-to-peer networks, and in which the server are not completely dedicated to cause of serving. So in non-dedicated server is there, but it is not completely dedicated to cause of the serving. Okay, so it only facilitates the resource sharing among the works, not directly gives the instruction to another computer. But in dedicated server, main server directly instruct the other computer, that is also called the client computer, to follow the instructions. It is used in a large network. So dedicated server is used in large network system. So that is the difference between non-dedicated server and dedicated server. Basic difference is very simple. In non-dedicated server, these are the servers that are not completely dedicated to the cause of serving. The only task is to resource sharing, to provide resource sharing among different computers or nodes, or we can say that the client computers. And the concept that is used in non-dedicated servers are called the peer-to-peer network. While in dedicated server, one system is reserved for server's job and follow the principle of master-slave relationship. Next is NIC, and I think all of you are aware to this concept. NIC means network interface card. That is an essential part of a computer network. So NIC is installed in your computer. Only then you can connect different computer to each other, and without NIC in your lab or office, different computer are not connected to each other. So first of all, install or this hardware into your computer, connect this hardware to your computer, and all then you can combine all these, then you can connect all these computers to each other via computer networking. So an NIC network interface card unit is an interpreter that helps establish communication between the server and the workstation. And any computer which has to be set of a part of a computer network must have an NIC installed in it. And the address of the NIC card is unique, and this is called the MAC address. We will discuss it on this concept later on in this video. MAC address, media access control. You can see here the NIC manufacturer assign a unique physical address of each NIC card. It means each NIC card has its own unique physical address, and this physical address is known as the MAC address. Here is the example of the MAC address. You can easily see here. Here it can be divided again into two parts. This is first part here, and this is second part here. The prefix 00A0C9, you can see here, indicates that the manufacturer is Intel Corporation, and the last three numbers 14C835 are given by the manufacturer Intel in the example to the NIC. This is a small example here. So first part basically contain the information about the manufacturer. Intel is one of the manufacturer of NIC card. So basically this information belongs to Intel Corporation. And the second part contain basically the information regarding to the this is a unique information, and it is information about the NIC card. This is the information about the company, and this is the unique number that is assigned to each NIC card. And the second term that is very important is also known as IP address. IP address is the logical address, while MAC address is the physical address. And you can change IP address, but you cannot able to change MAC address of any NIC card of or any machine. Remember that. And IP address is provided by the Internet Service Provider (ISP). Okay, and it is also it is also a unique identifying address, and it is a group of 4 bytes, 32 bytes, and this is the example of IP address. So IP address basically is used to identify a machine in a network, and that is the basic difference between IP address and MAC address. MAC address is media access control, is a physical address. IP address is a logical address. Okay, and IP physical address or MAC address is given by the manufacturer of the company or manufacturer of the NIC card, and IP address is given by the Internet Service Provider, and it can be changed, but MAC address cannot be changed. So these are the basic difference between MAC address and IP address. In our next lecture, we continue these topics. So I hope till now you are able to understand the basics of the internet computer network here. So thanks for watching this video.